For our devotional today, I want to read to a passage from the book of Jeremiah, and I think it's a passage that really speaks to kind of what we're going through with the coronavirus thing. I think this is week 2, and perhaps you're feeling a bit, held captive to the whole thing. And so Jeremiah was called by Bible scholars the weeping prophet, and it's just because he did not have good news for the people of his generation. For years, the Jewish people, the tribe of Judah, had been involved in sin, turning their backs on God. And so God commissioned an evil empire called Babylon to come and basically to uproot Judah. And this actually happened during Jeremiah's lifetime. Babylon came and they burned down the city of Jerusalem, and they took captive many of its people, killed others, and left only a small remnant behind. And I want you to imagine today maybe that you're in the prime of your life, maybe you're in your 20s or your 30s, and you're living during Jeremiah's time, and this evil empire's come, they've burned down your house, they've maybe killed some of your friends or family, and now you find yourself on this chain gang being dragged against your will across hot desert sand to a foreign city. My guess is that you wouldn't feel very optimistic about the future, right? You wouldn't, you'd be in a place of despair and hopelessness. You probably wouldn't be looking forward to the next part of your life. You probably wouldn't be thinking about, hey, I can't wait to get to this new place and build a house or put in a garden or start a small business or anything. You'd probably be pretty hopeless. If you were single, you'd probably be thinking, that we're probably going to remain single for the rest of your life, that love and romance would not find you in a foreign land as a slave. If you were married, the thought of starting a family probably wouldn't even enter your mind, because who would want to raise a family as slaves in a foreign land? And my guess is that if you prayed at all, your prayer would be this bitter prayer against your enemies, that another nation would come and do to them what they had done to your nation. And I think it's against this whole backdrop of people really not being in a good state of mind as they were becoming exiles in a foreign land, that God spoke through Jeremiah these words. This is from Jeremiah 29:4-7. This is what the Lord of heaven's armies, the God of Israel, says to all the captives he has exiled to Babylon from Jerusalem. Listen to what he says to them. He says, build homes and plan to stay. Plant gardens and eat the food they produce. Marry and have children. Then find spouses for them so that you may have many grandchildren. Multiply. Do not dwindle away, and work for the peace and the prosperity of the city where I sent you into exile. Pray to the Lord for it, for its welfare will determine your welfare. And I want to pick out just maybe 3 points of application there. I mean, in no way do I want to equate what we're going through, the coronavirus, to what was going on here, being deported and taken slaves. I mean, what we're going through feels like small potatoes compared to what they were going through. But I do find some points of application, and the first one is to just be productive during this time. Maybe it is time to plant a garden or get outside and get some exercise, or wash some windows, or clean out the garage, or reorganize that junk drawer. You know the one I'm talking about, right? That's cluttered. I do think productivity takes our minds off of negativity, and so I want to encourage you during this time to be productive and to be positive about what you're doing, the work of your hands, those kinds of things that can really be helpful. And then the second thing, as he's talking about all these relationships, I think I would say, in addition to be productive, I'd say, stay connected. The point of all this talk about relationships is he's saying, hey, when you get there, don't isolate yourself. Don't become withdrawn from other people. Just the normal relationships that you had before you were taken captive, continue in those kinds of things. It's interesting, he says, to multiply. I heard or saw something on Twitter, I think it was, that there's going to be an overpopulation of babies come December, because husbands and wives are stuck at home together. But so I guess what I am saying is, yeah, go for it if that's what you need to do. Can't believe I'm telling you guys to have sex, right? But anyway, the point is about maintaining good relationships, and I know that's a little bit more difficult now that there's all kinds of opportunities on the internet and through social networks to just keep those relationships strong, stay connected. I think the worst thing you can do is to isolate yourself and become lonely and not have someone to talk to. And this third thing, so be productive, stay connected. And then I think the last thing he's saying here is just keep praying. And especially, he even says to pray for their enemies, this country that's taken them captive. He says pray for the well-being of this place where you're going. And unfortunately, one of the things I'm seeing during this time is and I've tried to stay off of social media for the last week in the news. But what I have seen is people blaming China or all kinds of rants against our government and its response. And, even older people blaming younger people for being irresponsible during this time, and none of that stuff is helpful. Instead, we ought to be praying for our government, praying for other countries impacted by this, praying for China, praying for the people to do well. Because when other people do well, then we're going to be doing well. In addition to that, so. Those are some of my thoughts today, so hope this is helpful stuff. You guys enjoy your day. Thanks.